You said y'all were talking about Dogecoin 2 weeks ago?
Dodge.
No, it's Doge.
No, is it really?
DOGE. You're talking about the.
Yes, we were.
Okay, Doge is a meme.
No, I know it's a doggy, and they're like much dog, such fluff. Like that, they call it a Doge, right?
It's Doge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Dogecoin.
Okay. Yeah.
Dodge would be DODGE. That's Dodge, the company.
You can't argue with that logic.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
All right. I mean, you have solid proof. Okay.
So
Again, this is the English language we're talking about.
yeah. I put $1,000 in today, and then I was telling Irene that I freaked out a little bit, and I pulled them out like $200 less. Like I lost $200, like pulling it out in a dip, like right as I was about to pick back up.
Shit.
And so right now, like I was like, damn it, I lost $200. Like I'm done with that. Like I'm done speculating like that. But I'm like, no, because this is a protest. You know, we're sticking it to the man.
So all the like Wall Street people and the like high rollers, the 1%.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So catching everybody up to date. What's happening right now is what's like the most efficient protest on the markets that there's been like in a long time.
You could say that.
And it's fueled by memes.
Memes and Reddit.
So
Wow.
we can take it at a very detailed route. I mean, this podcast is already like an hour long usually. So let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Do you understand what's going on with those companies that were hedge funds and the shorting of stocks and stuff like that?
My like super basic understanding of it was that these like super rich guys would bet on companies that were going to like go under basically. So like GameStop, AMC, shit like that. And they would bet on it for them to do bad. And if they did do bad, if they tanked or if the trend went down, then they would make money. So somehow these, I don't know if they're kids or whoever on Reddit was like, nah, let's buy up all these things while they're like $10 or $5 or 0.00 whatever. And everybody kept buying and they drove the prices up. So all those rich people lost like a ton of money.
Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
That's my version of what happened.
That's yeah. You put it pretty simply. Now, the thing that fuels a lot of rage is that they weren't just betting on it. So they were shorting stocks. And what shorting stocks is, there's a lot of different ways to play around with the stock market. You know, you can just buy a stock and let it rise or fall and then sell. You also have options. You can short, you know, and that sort of thing. Now, a simple explanation of shorting stocks would be like, if you were a company and you had 10 Camaros, right? Mm-hmm. You had 10 cars, Camaros. And I came over to you, each of those Camaros was worth $50,000, right?
Okay.
And I borrowed a Camaro from you. And I told you, hey, I'm gonna give you this car back or a Camaro back, you know, by Friday. And then I went and took this Camaro on a Monday and I sold it because it's worth $50,000. And I'm expecting the price of Camaros to go down for some reason. You know, they're not going to be cool anymore or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so the price of Camaros drops to $25,000, right? And so now it's Friday. Camaros are worth $25,000. I can buy 2 Camaros, give you your Camaro back.
Oh, and have my own.
Or I can just buy one and give you yours back, and I'm left with that profit of $25,000.
Right.
That's what shorting stocks are. Now, it should be like it's a pretty it's fair. You know, it seems like a fair kind of exchange that's going on.
To borrow stocks, like I didn't even know there was anything other than like buying or selling.
No, there's like a million things you can do with stocks. Okay. What these companies were doing was the problem, and the reason why names like Elon Musk are involved is because these companies are vilified because they'll go ahead and put a ton of shorts on a company like GameStop. that's already kind of on its way down. But then they'll also go on the news and go on CNN and go on like stock shows and go on, finance shows.
Oh, and say that, hey, they're
And-
doing really bad.
Yeah,
They're going
and
to trend
talk
down.
the company, which inevitably causes the company to go even lower.
Right, which is more profit for them.
More
And
profit
the
for
company
them.
itself is like just losing and losing. Okay.
Yeah, and if it's clear that like the biggest hedge funds are betting on this company to go down, then chances are it's going to go down, and no like individual buyer is going to be like, well, they might, so let me put money on GameStop, and
Right.
it inevitably goes down. And people like Elon Musk fight a lot against that because they did that to Tesla a long time before Tesla like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
They try to put down a lot of these like small companies that are developing themselves, and that's how they make their money, which is terrible for like CEOs. CEOs hate that. You're basically betting that your company is gonna do bad.
Yeah.
And then actively working to manipulate the market so that it
Isn't
goes
that
bad.
illegal to manipulate the market? Isn't there like regulation for that or whatever?
Quote unquote, but to a certain extent. Like you can go on a news show and be like, hey, this company, look at their financials, they're not looking good, and that's legal.
Yeah.
That's akin to giving advice and stuff like that. But whenever these companies like did all that, what happened with GameStop is it's like if the school bully has a big old Sid on the back of his head and like he's just going around the school like punching kids and like stooping down to their level because he's the biggest kid, right? But he doesn't keep in mind that he's got this big ass Sid, and then somebody comes behind him and pops it. Like they put their defense down.
Oh.
They sold all their shields and bought swords. And so what happened was these bunch of Redditors, which I attributed, it's Gen Z. Like Gen Z has been the
They're
craziest.
amazing.
Yes,
Oh my God.
Yes. For first off, what they did to Trump with TikTok, whenever
When they like sold out his freaking rally and then nobody showed up. Amazing.
I love Gen Z. I wish that either my millennials would take us or Gen Z would take us, because we're that 97 generation.
Yeah.
But Gen Z, yeah, they did amazing. What's the Reddit? Wall Street Bets, right? Or Wall Street?
Yeah, I think it's Wall Street Bets.
Yeah. So
And they're like trying to shut it down now because they were doing like illegal things, but it's like basically what they were doing the whole time.
absolutely. What they figured out was because everything that has to do with the stock market is public information. Okay.
Right.
So you can look at GameStop, and looked at, certain company went and bought like so many stocks of it.
Mm-hmm.
And these hedge funds, what's it called? Melvin Capital, there was two big hedge funds. One of them is Melvin Capital, the bigger one of them. What they did is they overbought shorts on GameStop, and Reddit just organized themselves to go ahead and everybody buy GameStop,
Yeah.
And so that sent the price of its, rocketing way up. It sent Melvin Capital like way down, like they're down like billions, like $10 billion
That's amazing.
in debt, right? And then this one company called Citadel went ahead and saved them. They gave them like 3 point something billion, 4 billion. Now, the problem that people are having today is Thursday. On Thursday, what day is it actually? The 28th,
the
right?
28th, I think so. Or
The 28th of January.
Yeah.
Robinhood, which is the main like trading company for millennials and Gen Z.
It's like restricting its users from buying, right?
Yes. And that is an actual crime. Like,
Yeah, I saw on the news actually like a few hours ago that there's like 2 lawsuits against them and a few other like applications that aren't letting
Yeah.
its users like buy.
yeah, there's 2 class action suits because the Redditors and the general population already bought like all these stocks of GameStop and made it go from like $20 to like
300 and something,
400.
yeah.
Yeah. People became millionaires.
Amazing.
It's the most amazing transfer of wealth that has occurred like ever.
Damn it. I
Back-
wish I would have known about it sooner.
Right. Like,
But
a
like
ton
it
of
was
people-
a matter of days. Like, and if you're not constantly watching it, you wouldn't have known until you saw it on the news, you know? Like even the Dogecoin or Dogecoin, whatever whatever you want to call it, like that was like last night. Like Andy, he was showing it to me. It was like a 0.001 something, you know, like a very small number. He's like, you know, like even if that goes up to $1, like you'll make a ton of money. And I was like, okay, like he was just explaining to me how it worked. And then this morning it was like a $2.
2 cents. 2 cents.
I mean, sorry, 2 cents. Yeah, that.
It was worth 1 penny. Like
Right.
below 1 penny.
Below 1 penny, and now it's 2 cents. My bad.
Right now it's 5 cents.
Or 5.
Yes, yeah.
Pulls out phone,
I was telling Irene, I'm trying to buy some.
but they won't let you.
But they won't let you. They stopped that as well. So what's happening is a lot of people already went and put money into GameStop, into AMC, into Nokia. Like all these companies that they realized that hedge funds were shorting heavily, like beyond their means.
Yeah.
The thing about shorting, okay, so if you buy a stock, let's say you buy a stock of Tesla back when it was $100, you bought Tesla and it didn't work out, all you lost was your $100. But if I went and borrowed a Camaro from you for $50,000, and then the price of Camaro, like the price of Camaros can just go up nonstop.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, you know, Gen Z wants Camaros for some reason, and now they're worth like PlayStations. Now PlayStations, instead of being $500, they're worth $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, I owe you a Camaro and more. You know,
right?
And so that's just how these companies are like billions in debt now.
Jesus.
They're basically bankrupt. There's
they
no
had it
recovery.
coming because it's not like they never did anything shady, or like, I guess in your viewpoint, you wouldn't call it shady because you're like, technically it's fair because like, according to like the whole shorting thing, like technically you can do that, but it's just, I mean, I would assume it's frowned upon. Like that kind of sounds sketchy to me because like you're profiting off of people's downfall, basically. Like that's not morally okay, but it's like, oh, it's just business, it's just money. It's like, okay, well, if it's just money, let's just like fuck you over.
Well, shorting is like akin to gambling, like pretty much.
I thought gambling was illegal except in Vegas.
In Vegas and Louisiana,
it's more than
yeah. There's a couple of places, but no, like it's completely legitimate in its simpler form. That example that I gave you with the car, like that makes sense. It makes sense how somebody would be able to do that. And so it makes sense how they would be able to do that to stocks. Now, the problem is the added manipulation that they do, which is
the talking out against the company on like, social platforms.
Yeah, which is Melvin
media.
going out and being like, hey, you know, this is this dead, so nobody invest in it. And they just, you know, rack up more money from it. You know, it's market manipulation.
Yeah.
But it was allowed because nobody was checking them, you know, on it.
Right.
Back in, what was it, 2000? Do you remember when Occupy Wall Street was? Whenever, like, it was like a week or a couple of weeks that people were camping outside of at Wall Street, you know, outside of the exchange center or something like that. It was early 2000s.
No, we were tiny.
Yeah, we were, I mean, but they did this protest and people got beat up. There was all kinds of police action and like, at the end of the day, it didn't, no, it was 2009. 2009. Yeah, because it was right after the market collapse.
The market collapsed?
In 2008.
Yeah.
I didn't care about this stuff until recently. I haven't done my research, okay?
Do you remember in third grade when Cheetos went from being 25 cents to 50 cents?
Ah.
Yeah, that was the great market collapse of
I had
08.
to ask my mom for an extra quarter. What the fuck?
But yeah, like even the Occupy Wall Street movement didn't directly impact, you know, these what's basically the 1%. It's turned into a class fight.
Right.
And
That's so cool. Oh my
it's
God.
the
I feel like
coolest.
I'm watching like a movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on Twitter is like posting the Sparta thing where they're like,
Yeah.
hold the line, because that is what people are trying to do. What Robinhood tried to do was, now that these prices were up, there's only so many stocks, right? And the reason the price goes up is because it's like with PlayStations right now. There's only so many PlayStations out in the market, and so the scarcity for them,
Right.
demand. Yeah, and since there's only so many stocks, and they block the ability to buy stocks, the price is inevitably supposed to go down because people are just going to be selling them. That's the only
Yeah.
option they have. And so that's why the meme or the order right now is to hold, to keep, to buy
Hold
these
the
stocks.
door.
Yeah, hold the line.
R.I.P.
To hold the line, because on Friday is supposed to be the expiry date for a ton of the shorting.
What do you mean?
Of the shorting contract.
There's a date of like expiration for that?
For most of them, yes. So in the example with the car, I told you I was gonna give you a car back on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I said specifically Friday because that's the case with like half or more than half
Yeah.
of the stocks of the shorting option of the shorts that Melvin Capital and the other one called. And so by Friday, like they're that's it. Like they're done. Like it's out of the game.
So
like,
that's why they're trying to slow it down by like restricting Robinhood and all of those other apps.
yeah. And so the convoluted thing is that this company that I was telling you that what's it called, Citadel, that bailed out Melvin, like kinda. Melvin's already like way deep underwater, but Citadel, they have a lot. They fund a lot of Robinhood's operations. They fund a lot of Robinhood and other like what are they called, broker.
So they have
companies.
all these 1%ers like in their back pockets. It's like, damn, we kind of have to appease to them. So let's just like let's call it a malfunction. Of
It's
the
basically
system.
like they sent them an order, to help decrease their price, and that's absolutely illegal, like in every way you look at it. And so, they did that. There's no more purchasing of GameStop and these like meme stocks.
But how long would it really take? Like, there's lawsuits in place, but how long will it take for them to open it back up?
Tomorrow, they already sent a message that tomorrow they're opening it to limited trading.
Oh yeah, it was an email.
So they're gonna be, determining what's the safe amount of trades
so
for.
fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah, and it's actual manipulation, and that's why there's Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria AOC. That's why she's already looking into having a trial and seeing what's going on.
Yeah, because like, why not? It's literally illegal. Like, they're doing it blatantly, like right in front of your face.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, they're rich enough that like at the end of the day, a lawsuit comes out, or like they actually go to court and they'll be like, we had a malfunction that day. There were so many users because of blah, blah, blah. We just weren't expecting that. Like, whatever.
Oh, no. There's gonna be repercussions. Okay.
You think so?
Yes.
I hope so. But by then, like, the stock market's gonna kind of like,
well, it's
go
gonna
back
be
to
on
its
both
normal,
ends
no?
for sure. Like they're gonna form some kind of law that's gonna create a broader term for pump and dump. So their defense right now is that this is a pump and dump scheme. Are you familiar with that? What that is? So pump and dump is basically the opposite of shorting whenever you have manipulation. Where
like buy when it's low and sell when it's high, so you can make a profit that way.
No, that's legitimate. That's how it's supposed to work.
Right.
Yeah. Pump and dump means you buy a stock, right? And then you tell everybody that, hey, look, their financial information is amazing. Like, look, they're about to have this great sale. And you tell everybody to invest in it. And everybody pumps a bunch of money into it. And then you dump your story and take out while the market demand for it is high. Yeah, you're telling everybody that the financials are doing good, that everything's going good.
So the aspect of telling everybody that everything's going good, like that's where it's bad, like where you're manipulating.
Yes.
But they do the same thing by manipulating it in a bad way, you know?
In shorts.
Yeah, in shorts. So why is it bad the other way around?
Not to the extent that pump and dumps usually are. What's the name of... You remember His first name's Jordan, from The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, the main guy, Jordan Madoff. No, it's not Madoff. Can you look it up? The main the wolf. You know, it's the Wolf of Wall Street's story. So
that's an actual like story.
yeah. That's an actual story.
Yeah.
All that cocaine.
And more like that. That movie was tame.
Wow.
Jordan Belfort. Okay, yeah. So he's a criminal. Like he's in jail deep. Like because he did that. What he was doing is he was basically like acquiring like little companies that were about to go into IPO. That's the process for becoming a publicly traded stock. And he would go out to everybody, you know, advertise that it's going up and up. You know, it's this specific entity that's, you know, sponsoring the IPO and, you know, telling everybody that is going to skyrocket. I think on their first day, like they even said in the movie, they made like $6 billion in a matter of minutes, you know? Yeah, like you tell everybody that the stock is going up, and then once it's at its peak, or what you assume it's its peak, you sell, knowing that the company isn't worth like at all what you were telling it's worth. Yeah. And that's absolutely illegal, and that makes sense.
But it's freedom of speech.
No, and that's one of the things that's being argued, like that. Okay, that's
it's like I really thought it was gonna do well, you know. Like it's their choice to believe me or not. I never said like 100%.
That's why accounting is a thing. That's why we have CPAs and people that, you know, gotta be certified to post what.
So you're the money police.
Yeah. CPAs are a thing because of things like Jordan Belfort, or what was the company, Enron. So Enron is before you and I time, you know. Enron was, do you remember Enron? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Enron was the company. Like they were the leader in business. They were the leader in oil and energy. Yeah, they were number one. This company was making like ludicrous amounts of profit. Like I'm talking about, they brought in a lot of money and they had a ton of expenses. They owned two twins. They own two skyscrapers here in downtown.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you caught me. They own two skyscrapers here in downtown.
That's illegal.
That once like they went under, Chevron now owns. Like those two used to be Enrons. What Enron was doing is what they were manipulating their financial sheets so that a lot of their investments came out as expenses and not depreciations.
I have no idea what you just said.
Fancy way of saying that their profit was fake. They were.
So they wrote it off as like a business expense when it was just like.
Yeah, when they shouldn't have.
Okay.
Aim your mic a little bit more towards you.
Sorry.
Like this. Yes, there you
go.
They were posting a lot of expenses that they shouldn't have, that were actually like like capital investments and stuff like that, stuff that goes to their assets. And so when this happened, all the people that had money invested into Enron, like their stock might have gone, I don't know what it was at the time. Let's say it was 1,000. Let's say you had two stocks of Enron, you had $2,000 invested in there. And then, it turned out all of it was fake. And in a matter of minutes, like the value of $1,000 dropped down to like $10, and you lost $1,000. The guy who invested $2,000 of his money into that bank account, he lost $2,000. People who had retirement accounts, like, depending on that, people who had like the 401k, I'm pretty sure the SPDR 500, Enron was one of the main contributors because that's how it always works out. Yeah. The biggest companies are part of the 401ks. They're part of, the general market that grows.
So even with a 401k, you can stand to lose money?
Yeah. If the market does bad. But then
I thought it was just money that, I don't even know what I thought. I kind of thought of it like a savings account, but your employer also added to it. So it was like double the money until you are 65 and then you can take it out and like live your life.
So the concept of the 401k is put in like super simple terms. You give a portion of your money to a company And that company invests that money, into the stocks that they think are gonna, progressively go
Oh,
up.
okay.
And so the 401k goes and this is where I might be wrong. The 401k goes and looks at the Nasdaq. They look at the
Is
500.
it like a randomized thing, or you can choose like between like higher risk versus lower risk?
Yeah, you can
investments?
choose higher risk. They give you an option, of how you want your investment to be handled. But then, like, even then, like, it's up to them to decide, okay, it looks like this might be doing good. Looks like this might be doing good. And all of it is driven by the accountants. All of it is the reason why Enron was super huge is because the accountants were saying that, look, this is what our financials look like.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to have absolute trust in the accountants. If the accountants lie, your company isn't valued anything, and that's what happened with Enron. That's why CPAs are so like intensely scrutinized in order to have their certifications. With Enron, we got with the failure of Enron, we got a ton of new like regulations that had to be done for companies, and it all makes sense. So
Right.
something like this wouldn't happen again. I think that was Madoff that was the CEO of Enron. He's straight up a felon. Like he ruined like
Really?
I mean, he ruined millions of Americans, like retirements, like a ton of
Yeah.
investments.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's basically like he's.
But I mean, it's the stock market, like it rises and falls. How is that like his responsibility?
Because he lied about how much his company was really worth.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Apple is telling us that they had a really good quarter, which they just did, they had their record quarter this Wednesday, I want to say. If Apple turns out to have lied, like then Apple's stock shouldn't be worth what it's worth. Like it should be worth what it's actually worth, how much they actually made, and that would cause Apple to be the next Enron,
Right. How do you even determine what a stock is worth? Like, is it based on how much they made for the year, or?
There's valuation firms that take into account like future projected earnings and a bunch of, there you go, like way deep.
Yeah.
And it's so complicated that, you need to be like, you need to have
Like the certifications and all of that.
Yeah, to even understand it. Like it's deep, And like the company that I work for, there's a company that evaluates our stock, and evaluates how much our investment would be worth, even though we're like privately owned. Like we don't even, we're employee owned. So if you can't trust the CPAs, then you can't trust the companies,
Right.
That's why Madoff, the former CEO of Enron is dead. That's why he's like, he's in prison, They sometimes bring him out, or he might be free but under some kind of arrest or something. I don't know. He's suffering the consequences. That's it. And what basically happens is, where was I lost my train of thought. That's why we have to trust the CPAs, and that's why. So the issue with pump and dump schemes, going back all the way to that, they're illegal because you are lying about the value of the economy. Stocks aren't supposed to be gambling. Stocks are supposed to be, you buy a company, and the most basic form. If I form a company with my brothers, and we three have equal parts, that's 3 stocks of this company.
Right.
And if the company's, portfolio does better, the value of those 3 stocks of that 33% of the company is obviously going to be higher.
Does that mean if you own a certain number of stocks, you have a say in what that company does?
Yes.
Even if it's just one, or does it have to be like a majority or like a whatever?
So with a company, let me give you Walmart, for example. So with Walmart, after a certain amount of stocks that you own, you get to go to a stockholders meeting. And it's basically, you're not there with like 7 people. You're there with like 10,000 people that all own, like it's not a lot of shares, but it's enough for them to be like, hey, like, let me show y'all what's going on exclusively.
Right.
After a certain amount, let's say you own a majority, like you were saying,
Then you're like physically there or whatever.
they might be more inclined to give you like a chairman spot or, if you flat out, because so if Amazon has 1 million stocks out in the market, it doesn't mean that if you buy the 1 million stocks, you own Amazon. No, Amazon has 1 million parts that they decided that they can give out to people.
Oh, but there's still a part
They
that like
still-
the CEO or the owner of the
Yeah,
company
say for
has.
those 1 million parts of Amazon, there's another 3 or 4 million that Amazon owns.
Okay, that makes sense because I wasn't like that's what was confusing me too. I was like, well, I don't understand if all of the stocks are up for grabs, then does that just like if I own the majority of I don't know Apple, then like I'm the CEO now, like I'm the boss now.
No, Apple owns some Apple
Okay,
stock as
okay.
well. It is their company, so they have an interest to reserve stock so that nobody can just buy them out like that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to buy out Apple, you could offer them an actual offer for their capital balance, their capital amount, how much Apple truly is worth, which is based all on their sheet plus what's it called, goodwill, the image of Apple, the non-tangible, like, Apple is worth, $100,000, let's just say. But because it's Apple, it's worth $150,000, like the image of Apple gives it that.
Right.
And so
Like the credibility, I guess.
credibility, the good appearance, all of that,
yeah.
So with GameStop and stuff like that, what they noticed was GameStop owns like 20% of it, and then like a ton of it else, was being shorted by Melvin Capital, and Redditors went and bought, the remaining amounts and just drove that price up. It's ridiculous and it's amazing and I love it, and I've been having so much fun watching like all these millionaires go on CNN, and be like, these are just bunch of they like to play video games and smoke weed, and they're so bitter. Yeah, they're so ridiculously bitter. I'm loving it. Oh, I'm drinking tears.
Because it's so fun to see them just like mess up the whole system. And y'all were talking about it. Him and his room were talking about it. About how like never mind.
There was that one video of a guy. I don't know if it was a bid, but he was like so angry. Like they recorded him like close up, like, hey, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? He's like, dude, I don't have a job. Like I'm in debt. Yeah. But I mean, hey, like that's what you guys do. It's just that you never expected a bunch of kids to do it.
Right.
Fucking love Gen Z, man. They'll what's it called? Body slam a cop.
They never expected to be on the receiving end.
Yeah. It's just crazy that's going on. I know tomorrow I'm gonna be waking up a little extra early to look at what time Robinhood opens up. At 8:30 in the central.
Yeah.
So mark the time, 8:30. Check. I'm thinking that price is gonna go up by then.
But they're not letting people buy stuff yet, right? Or you said tomorrow? No, tomorrow they're opening it like in a limited amount, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's not gonna go up by then, but what people do is they place orders. So as soon as so what's gonna happen overnight to all these stocks? The hedge funders are able to still invest overnight when the market is down. There's a bunch of different like extra, like if you have $25,000 in your account, separate from the amount that you're trading, you can day trade and have like purchase buy, buy sell multiple times a day. There's all kind of like prestige levels, you can say.
It sounds like a game.
It kind of is. It's the game of Wall Street.
They're over here complaining about like all they do is play video games all day. It's like all you do is stare at numbers all day. Like shut up. We're the same.
It's kind of a game, yeah.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen is overnight, since they have the ability to like trade or like buy and sell what they have, that those prices are gonna go down. But as soon as that market opens, like to be able to buy, it's gonna go way up. Like everybody is on board now, and that price needs to stay up like tomorrow for Melvin Capital to be like unrecoverable.
Oh my God.
Like that's
I'll download Robinhood just to piss them off. I put $5 whole in there. No, how much is it worth now? Like 300 and something to buy?
GameStop. Well, Robinhood is pretty cool because they let you buy partial shares. Partial shares.
Yeah.
So Tesla stock is worth like $800, I think. I can buy 600 of it. You know, I don't need to buy the full 800.
Yeah.
That used to prevent people a lot in the past because you couldn't buy a Amazon stock. It was already like $1,200.
Right.
So you went and bought all these penny stocks, but you know, these penny stocks are penny stocks because, you know,
they only make you pennies.
Because the companies are already down.
Yeah.
Unless something like this happens and they bring Dogecoin back from the dead. Like, oh, so that.
What even is that?
Okay,
what
so that brings you
that?
to Dogecoin. Cryptocurrency. Yeah, it's not a company.
Like Bitcoin?
Yes. It's not a company. It's a currency. Cryptocurrencies are basically, well, man, even I'm confused on some of the way that it works. But a cryptocurrency is like a universal. They created cryptocurrency because people didn't want to shop on the internet and be held to like the value of like the American dollar or the euro.
Or like the euro, the peso and like so on.
Yeah, so it has its own value, and its own value is, again, limited by the amount of Bitcoin that there is. You know, and
but it's online. Like, what do you mean the amount that there is? There's a limit.
There's it might be online, but there's a physical it's not even physical. It's in terms of like server drive size and stuff like that. Like Bitcoin isn't stored in a wallet, in a safe.
Yeah.
It's stored in storage space in a hard drive.
Okay.
Like it's electronic storage, you know. And it has a certain size, and you can mine Bitcoin, even though like it might not be profitable because it's like to acquire one Bitcoin is like so much processing that you have to have like multiple drives working at the same time to do it, and the cost of electricity to do that, and it's like there's a business.
That sounds too complicated for me to get
it's
like
really complicated.
What, the equivalent of $1 in Bitcoin? Like. What?
It's really complicated, and off of this one cryptocurrency, like you can build others. Like Dogecoin has a value. You can create your own currency and like value it to what a Bitcoin is, and like obviously, like it, you know, only you know about it. It's worth 0.0000000 cents. You know, like a millionth of a penny, and so. Well, that's what Dogecoin was. Dogecoin came out when Bitcoin was like really popping the first time around. And somebody was like, you know, let me just make a meme, you know.
What the heck?
Yeah.
They literally like dragged it back to life. Like it was dead. And then they're like, okay, well, let's just look at this one. You know, I like the name of it. Like, let's just go ahead and invest in it.
So there was no activity in Dogecoin for maybe like 6 years. And then December 20th, Elon Musk tweeted about it, and it kind of like picked up a little bit of awareness.
Hype, yeah.
And so people were like, Dogecoin, it's a penny now, right? You know, so no, I think it was less than a penny. It's like 0.008 or something like that. And once Robinhood decided, you can't buy anymore Gamestop, you can't buy anymore AMC, people were like, hey, look, Dogecoin's sitting there.
So, like, I just imagine this little, like, CEO of Dogecoin, like, oh, shit, we're back? Like, scrambling around. Like, what do we do now?
The founder is trying to figure out what's going on, you know, and it's ridiculous. Like, cryptocurrency is weird because it can be traded at any moment. Like, it doesn't have a off-market time. That's why even now we're filming, like, at 7. I'm looking at my... What in the hell? We're recording, and so I was looking around like, can I still? But Robinhood blocked it. What's it at now?
3 cents.
3 cents? 3 point what?
0.38.
3.8. Okay, close to 4. It's dropped down a bit.
0.038. There you go.
Yeah, at its peak, it reached at its peak, it reached 6 cents.
But it only dropped because they made it stop. Like the application itself refused to let you buy it, you know?
Yeah, and so your only option is to sell it. And what's happening right now is that
They're fucking rude.
does it still say you can't trade it?
I don't know. Let's see.
You're on Robinhood?
Yeah.
It should give you an error message at the bottom. Trust me, I know.
I tried to buy $5 worth of view.
I was saying, well, I already said it. I put a bunch of money into it and I dropped it, and then
You
I lost
shouldn't have
$200.
pulled it out yet.
Yeah, I know. And I pulled it out at two.
$5 of
It
that.
let him buy it.
It let you?
It let me buy it, right?
Ah, you bought $2?
Fine.
Congrats.
Cut.
You're
cut,
rich.
Cut. Okay, so that's another thing that was happening, and another reason why there's class action suits, because people were waking up this morning, and on their accounts it would say, "Hey, congratulations, you sold blah 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 share." Yeah, Robinhood was selling shares
For them.
Yeah, without their consent, without their advice, without anything. If you had an order, to buy GameStop, like to be set like at 8:30 in the morning this morning, then you would get an error message that said we canceled your order, to mitigate your risk. And at the end of the day, like before we filmed this podcast, I was reading that one of the some owner of like a bunch of like trading firms came out and we were like, yeah, we had to do it to mitigate our risk. That was to cover our butts. And there's going to be court battles over this.
Yeah, that's like hell to pay because so many people are like, that's so many people you're just going against their wishes. Like, that's not.
Yeah, it completely defies the free market.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be able
Free
to gamble
market
your
my
money.
ass.
Yeah.
Free country my ass.
Yeah, and so that's what was happening right now, but I mean, it's crazy. And the we were talking about repercussions, what's gonna come. That's how we got into the whole Jordan Belfort thing and Madoff. What's gonna happen is that they're gonna have some way to generalize the term for pump and dump, or term for organization, or term for that.
To make it so that this doesn't happen again and the rich people don't lose all their money all at once.
Well, to make it so that you can actually like find somebody for it, like you can actually criminalize somebody for it, because right now, who can they go after? They can't go after all the investors. Like those are all
goes after the Reddit CEO.
I'm thinking they're gonna go after the people who started it on Wall Street Bets.
Because they're trying to shut down that forum, right?
Well, Discord already cut them. Reddit, I think, already cut them. Like, I already think Wall Street Bets is down.
Why? They didn't do anything wrong, technically.
Well, it's
not insider trading.
no, and that's a whole other thing. We can reach that also in this episode. But what the reason why they want to do that is because these people like actively told people to buy, into this product, knowing that the value of it wasn't worth the $400 of stock that it is now. It's technically a pump and it's not technically. It's figuratively a pump and dump scheme, but there's no technical organization that's behind the rallying of it. It's the general market just trying to stick it to the Wall Street people.
Yeah.
But
I mean, at the end of the day, it's your own choice to like do the research and do what you're supposed to, like, are you just going to go by whatever like a person on the street is going to tell you?
Well, what I'm thinking is going to happen now is that now these hedge funds know that they're a target. Now people know that there's a way to strike them,
So now they're going to put up like defenses basically.
And so now if people see that, hey, maybe not Melvin anymore because they're dead. Let's say Wolf, again comes back. Another Wolf company comes back, and somebody finds out that, hey, look, they went and put 100% shorts on Best Buy.
Yeah.
We know, and we know what to do now. We know what happened last time. So this can be done again. Now they're gonna have to watch their backs. They can't just
like recklessly just fucking.
Because it's always been just recklessly, throwing money around.
I thought they were like super educated and like whenever I don't know, like it's a numbers game, like they do the math on like how much profit they'll make doing this and which ones are smart.
It is
smart and not smart.
It is. They are fully like aware of just about every risk that could happen to them. That's why they do this kind of thing. That's why they do shorts, and then they go the additional route, just to mitigate risk of showing CNN like, oh look, GameStop's financials are and it makes sense why they would short GameStop, because GameStop is gonna supposed to go down,
right?
Like,
especially with people buying games online instead of I got excited. Andy told me that he was like, because I always bought him a game every time, like for Christmas or for his birthday, I'd buy him a game on like a CD, like an actual physical game. And he's like, I love you, but next time, could you just get the game like online?
Really?
Yeah.
Digital copy, yeah.
It's
No.
just a digital copy. I was like, why? I was like, I went out of my way to get you a physical thing. It's tangible. If it costs that much, I want to touch it. If it costs $60, I want to touch it.
It takes up space, and then it's a whole thing to put it in whenever you want to play.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Look, here's where my argument is, because I don't like to buy digital copies because you can transfer a lot of data from one account to the other. So like in PlayStation, for example, if you bought an account under, let's say is my personal PlayStation account, and I bought this game and downloaded it, I have to transfer my account to somebody else's PlayStation in order for them to be able to download it through my account again, and then they'll be able to play,
Instead of just giving them the damn disc and be like, here you go.
Yeah. And aside from that, it takes more space whenever you have the
digital?
Yeah, because the digital has to download everything from the website. Whereas if you have the disc, it's reading part of that information from the disc and then mitigating, whatever they can't fit inside a disc because a hard.
Yeah.
Like it's and it's not that hard to
He's like, but that requires getting up.
Get up whenever I want to play a different game.
Oh.
He just wants the button.
I mean, there's a reason.
Convenience.
Well, you've seen the PlayStation 5, the one with the digital insert is $500, and the one with the slot for the disc is $500 of retail. And the one that's just like digital copies is $400 for a reason, because it's a lot more, it's beneficial to buy the disc.
Right. No, I get the benefits of both. Like, I understand that, like, if you get the digital copies, like, everything, you don't have to carry nothing around. You just take, like, let's say you have to go somewhere. You just take your PlayStation and that's it. Like, you're done. All your games are on there. As opposed to, like, if you want to take all your games, you have to, like, pack up the games as well and, like, take them with you. But other than that, like...
Well, aside from that, like, games nowadays...
It's because he has a terabyte.
A terabyte?
He's fancy. Like an extra storage. Yeah, like he has the little disc on
Oh,
the
you
side.
have a SSD?
Yeah.
The external hard drive.
Yeah, you have to get that now. Our PS5, like, it only has like 600 gigs of space. And a Call of Duty game, which has like 6 maps, is 300 gigabytes.
You're playing into
Like, what in the-
capitalism. You are.
No, they're screwing us there. They're screwing us there.
Yeah, it's like the iPhones. They're like, let's make the parts like what is it called? Like, you can't buy them anywhere else but through us. You can't fix your phone anywhere else but through us. And so the phone might be, and it's not even cheap. It's like a $900, $1,000 phone, and then your camera breaks, and you have to pay an extra like $100-something to fix that. And every little part is like directly through them. You can't even take it nowhere with the newer phones.
Have you seen the VR feature for the 12?
The phone?
Yeah, for the iPhone 12,
No.
where you can like not record. It creates a 3D model of whatever like you're recording with your camera.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to spend that money on that phone just for
That
that.
camera
like,
is so
that's-
nice.
Well, I don't care about the camera itself. It's just that ability to create 3D things. Are you kidding me?
That's called sculpting. You know,
Ah.
we did that in the old days.
Who wants to do things in the real world? Like, what? What is that?
There's something called modeling clay. It's okay. It's all a simulation.
It's a
We are
really cool
not real.
phone. It's a really cool phone. I just hate that Apple always has to put the camera like extra outside the phone, so you can never just place it down on the table because you'll scratch the camera.
Oh, so you have to buy
you
the
have
case.
to buy the case, you know.
It's
but
like how they make girl jeans and they make the pockets non-existent, so then you have to buy a purse.
you have to buy the purse. But stocks. What
Point
time
of
is
the
it?
story is F the 1%, buy some GameStop and some Dogecoin.
None of this is financial advice. We have to
No,
have a
please.
disclaimer.
I have never invested in my life. I invested in a penny stock in high school for a project, right? And it was like a simulation, and I lost all my money. So
When I first got when I got my first job at Fiesta, I used to get like $200 a week, and like my biggest deal like for like a week was, I'm gonna get into the stock market. I'm gonna get into the stock market, and I put $100 into the stock market, right? Through, what was the name of the company? I probably shouldn't even say. But apparently they charged me a commission for trading, and it was like $5 a trade. It was really expensive.
Oh, no.
I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what keywords were. I didn't know what ups and downs, and I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I downloaded the software. It just looked like when people look at an airplane control center.
Yeah.
Like
The calculations in your head.
it was a mess, and I bought and sold and bought and sold and bought and
Oh,
sold.
no.
And by the time I figured, those $100 were gone. And every once in a while, I'll get a letter like in the mail about my account of 0.00 something. Because the companies I put money into were penny stocks, and
But
even those
$5 to invest in a penny stock? You're kidding.
yeah, not per stock. It was like per trade. So you could buy $1,000, dollars for $5.
Yeah,
It was good for big investors.
but not for little.
But now that we have Robinhood and some other apps that do commission free, like, why not? Why would you spend money on that?
Right, you can just figure it out yourself.
Yeah, it's like banks that have credit cards with a fee, like, and it's just a basic card. It's like, why not go to everybody else that doesn't charge an annual rate and stuff like that?
Right,
Yeah.
like you're still gonna have the freaking APR. You might as well like get something better.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then I actually got into stocks. What was it, like a year and something ago? And again, I was trying to day trade, and I was buying and selling. I remember a friend of mine, and I put all of our money, which was like $200 each, into this one company called Chesapeake. And it was an oil company. It was worth like $2 at the time, right? We were like, hey, we've seen it go up to 220, so if we put $200, make a was that a 10% profit and be out of our way,
Yeah,
It just so happened that when we put our $200 in,
it dropped.
it dropped to like 70 something, 50 something
Jesus.
cents. Like, we lost a ton of money for the time. We were like, this is the end of the world. Yeah.
It's because you had to be so comfortable with like losing that money. It's like, okay, you should only really invest if you have money that you would be comfortable losing. I'm not.
Well, I
have
look at it
bills to
differently.
pay.
I still don't look at it that way, because now I'm a long-term investor. Like I'll put into a stock on a regular occasion. This is not a regular occasion, so I'm liquidifying and putting everything into Doge.
Just out of spite,
Yeah.
pure rage.
Oh, I was gonna get to that. This is like a protest. Like, this is
Yeah.
straight up a protest.
Wow.
But what was I saying? Yeah, like now, if you look at if you have a savings account at Chase, you put $2,000 into your savings account at the end of the day.
I get like 12 cents a year.
Yeah. Whoa,
I'm
profit.
rich. Wow.
Making it, big ballin'.
I have like $2,000 in there, but now it's 2,000.12. So
But the yearly
ready for
growth,
retirement.
but the yearly growth of like the overall market is like 20 something % a year. Like, if you put in those $2,000 at the end of the year, you have 40 something bucks and that gets invested again. It's compound. It's another form of compound interest.
Right.
Yeah, it's according to Albert Einstein, and he's very correct. It's one of the most powerful forces in the world. Compound interest. You know that does people. That's why retirement accounts and IRAs are like the thing.
Right.
So.
And somebody had the audacity to say that 401ks aren't the best thing in this market.
No, because I believe that other kinds of investments can do you a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And I mean,
what is that thing? Roth IRAs? I don't understand any of it.
no, not even that, because Roth IRAs also depend on the market. Like they also go.
Is there
through the
anything
market.
that doesn't, that just accumulates steadily, or like is it all just based on the market?
When I said that 401ks weren't the best thing for your retirement, I meant in terms of what are all the things that you could invest in. You know, for example, I like real estate. I went and bought my rental,
Right.
and you know, I'm putting that money into there. Whereas I would be putting it into a 401k, but I'd only pick that money up when I'm 65. Whereas
Right.
if I put that same amount into a house, you know, before I'm 65, I'll be collecting rent on that house. you know?
Right.
And it might not be the same thing as the amount that I'm getting into the IRA.
But it's a more immediate return
But that's
than waiting your
but that's
whole
only
life.
for one house, and that's, you know,
Assuming you don't get like 2-3 more.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same money that would go into an IRA.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the way I look at it. There's
Yeah.
other forms of investment you can take in your life. Maybe not even just houses. You can invest into like a company. Like you see what we're doing. You know, it's money that's not going into an IRA. It's not going into fast food. You know, we're not wasting it.
Yeah.
Like it's here. It's physical. I can touch,
Yeah.
you know, this freaking floor. Like it's you know, we're rich. We have 20 viewers. So hell yeah.
And we're like the first 4. No, 2.
We're only 5 months behind.
I'm sorry.
No, this will come out soon. This will come out soon. But yeah, I mean, I did say that IRAs aren't really the best thing you can do, because even in IRAs, you can manage it yourself. Like you can do the same thing that the IRA does, and where the IRA is gonna put a bunch of money if you go the no risk,
Like
but
the conservative route.
yeah, if they go the conservative route, they're just gonna put it into the 500. You know, you can do that yourself. There's a lot of companies that mimic the SPDR 500. You know, because everybody has had the same idea over and over. So you just pick one and let that money grow at the 20% rate that the market continually does.
Right.
It's and you don't have to wait till you're 65. The benefits of a IRA is that they'll sometimes give you a discount where the company will contribute as well. They'll match you like a percentage or something like that. You know, that's other people
And that's
putting
what's
money into it.
appealing.
Yeah, that's what's the difference between you handling it and they're handling.
Yeah.
But the IRA isn't gonna put money into Tesla when it's $300, and right now it's worth like how many times that amount? You know, they're gonna go the safe route. So if you just do your due diligence, my little brother, like I told him about the stock market,
Right.
and he went haywire with it. That boy is killing it. That boy is happy. Yeah.
Literally.
And so
I
it's
can't
like,
believe.
yeah, like you don't need to be a genius. You just need to do your due diligence. The reason
It's
why
so much work.
it's
I thought it was easy money. I put in money and it gives me double, right?
It's-
Is that not how it works?
you gotta do long term. I don't day trade because I lose money every time I day trade.
No, it makes sense. It's just actually studying up on it. Like even when they say like the stock market is easy money, like no, like you still have to study and just understand how everything works. But I don't know. I guess we just have to see.
I mean, that's the reason why they never expected something like this to happen. Because you never expect the group to organize the way they did, like out of spite. Like this is all purely out of spite.
This whole year has just been.
Yeah, the only reason they went after GameStop was purely out of spite for the hedge funds, you know, because
Can
they
we
figured
bring
it out.
back Blockbuster? Like
Blockbuster.
I miss it.
There's one in Oregon.
They're renting it out as an Airbnb. Unless
really?
unless that article I saw was like fake, they're renting it out. They have like a bed and everything.
What?
Yeah, and it's Yeah, they're like sanitizing
No,
it for
no.
COVID.
That's got to be another one.
There's only one.
Really?
Yeah, they're renting it out. They had to make money somehow.
Because there was one that was still like, and all of its money was coming out of like tourism, where people would like buy a shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like they're still renting out movies and shit. But like now they have a
wow.
bed in there, and now they're like, you can have your movie night and just go to town. You know, like we'll be back in the morning.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Well, I mean, like you were saying, like those companies, I mean, they're not dead, but it's just privately owned now.
Right.
Chick-fil-A is never going to be public. You know, that's, and if it
They're
did,
the Lord's fast food place, you know.
they just hate homosexuals, but it's whatever, right?
Apart from that, I trust them with my life. They
That
always
chicken
give
dog.
me my toppings. They always give me my chicken nuggets. I'm never missing a fork or a straw, so we're doing pretty good.
That drive-through is horrible. The parking. So
No,
that's-
the drive-through is great.
What are you talking about?
What the hell?
It
You-
wraps around the building like twice. Like,
But
come on.
you'll be in and out within 15 minutes or 10 or less, because they decided they want 3 lanes or 4, and then they got people running up to your little door like, what do you want? Instead of just waiting until you get to the window. I don't know. It's it's amazing.
I don't know. They screwed up the one by my house.
That's what America's supposed to be about. Good Christian people.
Efficiency.
Efficiency, yes.
Good Christian people. All of a sudden, we're religious.
Okay, next topic, please.
But I don't know. It's crazy. It's an exciting time to be alive, to see these kinds of things happen. There's
Chick-fil-A,
gonna
please sponsor me
sponsor us.
on our second video. We have 15 whole followers. No, we don't. Viewers.
Oh, just wait till y'all hear the religion one.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. Good night.
Peace.